Hey guys, Fred here, VE3FAL from Ontario Northwest Bushcrafter and Outdoors. It is August and I've picked up a few new toys this last month. I've been out doing a lot of canoeing, a lot of extras outdoors, and I also picked up a new radio this month. The radio is the RS918, also known as the mcHF QRP radio. But before I get into that, I think that we should just take note of a couple of gentlemen who were responsible for this original build, and that is Chris and Clint, who put this together as a kit back a little while ago. And it has now been claimed or cloned by the Chinese market. Recent, I believe, is the name of the company that sells this radio as a pre-built radio. The reason that I bought this radio, as many of you know from my videos, is that I do a lot of playing with radios. I do a lot of buying. I do a lot of bartering. Radios don't stay very long in my shack, and if you look in my messy room that I have here now, which I always apologize to you guys about, I do not do any operating whatsoever. Very seldom do I do any operating out of this shack. This shack is basically just a place to pile up stuff and to do a little bit of listening. Most of my operating is out in the field, and I prefer to be out in the field, and I do operate all QRP. I operated some digital stuff years ago. I was in a meteor scatter and whatnot operating, and now it's basically mostly all CW QRP in the field, portable, the way that I like it. Radio has taken a back seat to a lot of my outdoor activities, whether it's canoeing, backpacking, hiking, winter survival, you name it. But I still enjoy radio when I can, but I don't put a whole lot of extra effort into it anymore, only because I've been doing it since I've been 16 years old, and novelties wore off. Not only that, but the bands have also changed. But what I want to do is I just want to go through this radio with you guys, show you what it can do, some of the things that it does, and just go through it with you. I did have some issues when I purchased it, and I have read another blog with another gentleman who had been told the exact same stories that I was told while I was waiting, that there was a parts shortage. I'd send an email and it would be days, sometimes a week before I got a reply, and I get an apology from Mr. Larry Yang, you know, apologizing for being late on the email, yada yada yada, and so on and so forth. And finally the radio arrived here at my doorstep, and I'm able to operate it. Not without, however, doing a lot of changes to a lot of the menus. When I say that, there's a bunch of preset memories in here when it comes to, or preset power levels, I guess is what I should say. And a lot of those preset power levels were way the heck out of whack. When I was on the 5 watt setting on 20 meters, I was actually only putting out 2 watts. When I set my tune power for a tuner to 5 watts, and my high power I've set to the legal QRP limit on single sideband of 10 watts. So I went through a bunch of them. Not only that, the CW offset was not on. I operate the radio on CW upper sideband, and when I was listening to W1AW, the frequency is way off. Instead of 14.0475, they were way off, so I had to make the adjustment to the transmit offset, or sorry, the receive offset. And now it is bang on the money. And when I did a CQ last night with it, just called some CQs on 20 meters, reverse beacon network was putting me bang on frequency with the transmit as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab the camera from the tripod, and we're going to slip down here, see what the bands are like. It is 1733 right now, Zulu. There's contests on, but the bands here in North America sound like they're flat. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab the camera, swing it down here, show you guys some of the memories, zip through, see if you guys can hear some stuff on here, and go from there. Alright, so close up of the radio. You guys can see the screen. I apologize for the glare from the light up above. But you guys can see the radio. It says it has a 2.8-inch TFT SDR transceiver. It's a 2.8-inch TFT SDR transceiver. This is not a touch screen. It says HF band all mode. We have a power button. We have band up and down. We have AF gain, RF gain, RIT, mode DSPPA, bandwidth, a bunch of other menus that you can see on the screen here that are listed here. We have the waterfall. We have our steps for tuning. And of course our tuning button. My one thing about the tuning button here, if you listen, alright, is it does click. Just one of my quirks when it comes to that. It's also a push button so that I can, you know, toggle through my tuning steps. I can do the same thing from here as well. I can tune through them and go through all the steps from here. So there's multi-functions on all the bands. Up here I can switch between my words per minute and the RIT. Here it's RF gain, noise blanker, settings on there, and there's a bunch of other settings here as well as you go through it. And my audio, my side tone signal that comes out and whatnot can be operated from these switches. And there's a lot more yet. I'm still reading up on the radio. I have the DSP off. I can set the I can set my bandwidth for CW, as I've already done. I'm on 5 watts here right now on CW, if you guys can see that. And of course I can switch through the modes, AM, FM. That's the speech thing for voice. Digital, of course upper sideband. CW upper. If I hold the button, it then goes to the lower sideband. So there's multi-functions in all these switches. So let's just see if we've got anyone here right now. Let's adjust our step. A birdie. Some of the things I do not like about these encoders is that they skip, and that is one of the downfalls of not being an optical encoder. Looking at the waterfall, there's not much for signals here. In fact, there's nothing for signals. So let's go to voice. Change our offset. I don't even hear anything on the Maritime Mobile Service Net. Bands are flat. Got WWV right there. So here's WWV. Shortwave station. So we can see the bands are not cooperating with us by no means. So let's go back to 40 here and just see. Playing around with this earlier, listening to Radio Havana Cuba last night. Let's see if we've got anything here in 40. Nothing. So the bands aren't cooperating. So what I'll do is I'll make some video later. I'm going to take this out with me camping this week as well. Out at the iron range out in bush where there's no line noise. I'm going to take this out with me. And we'll go from there, and we'll just see if there's something else that we can hear. Do some operating for you guys, and just show you guys how this operates. So thanks for watching. This is Fred, VE3FL, Ontario Northwest Bushcraft and Outdoors. 7-3 guys. It's Art in Arizona. I just had him work V3XT in Thunder Bay. It's 1816 Zulu. We're just in the middle of a thunderstorm too. Thunderstorm's just going around us. So it's just a quick look on CW.